Greetings, Mythics. How are we all? Yes, it is another Saturday. It is another 10 a.m. there or thereabouts UK time, and it is another Edra Tales. What's happened to the sign? What's happened? I'm out. I've got out of the dungeon. Yes. Just for this weekend, though. I have to go back. I'm on probation. Yes, we are here talking about fantasy, we're talking about my creative projects, we're talking about your creative projects, when also we're kind of going to be rambling a little bit along the way too. You are watching the Edra Tales, I've got nothing to point to now, Edra Tales Twitch channel, and I've also got an Edra Tales YouTube channel where we've hit 100 subscribers. Yes, we've hit the big time. So, if you do prefer to watch stuff on YouTube after the event, then feel free to go to the Edra Tales YouTube channel. We have somebody watching, I think. There we are. If you would like to comment, then I can know who you are. If not, you don't have to comment. Doesn't matter. So we are talking about, let me spark up the old laptop. We're talking about your creative projects, talking about my creative projects, and things like that. Good morning, Martha. How are you? Hopefully you're having a good day today. It's coming up for Halloween, isn't it? When's Halloween? 31st. That's Monday, I think. Tired and hiding under a blanket. Oh, okay. What are you hiding from? Are you just sort of hibernating? Are you just hiding from the world in general? Because, I know that feeling. Yeah, so we are going to be chatting about, obviously, To Kill a Thief. Have I got that there? I'm on location, as you can tell. And I was like, right, I do want to work on some of my creative projects. And the good thing about it is, with my laptop, I've got a window into my desktop. So I can actually remote access my PC, which is a great invention. So I can double check. I can keep a live commentary on where the Kickstarter is. Just want to relax and stay cozy. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, well, just staying under the blanket, that's a perfect way to relax and stay cozy. So, as you know, we've been running the Kickstarter campaign. Did I bring a copy of the free sample? Yes, I did. We've been running, good morning Sally, good morning. We've been running the Kickstarter campaign To Kill a Thief, Devilish Dilemmas series of game books. You've been let out the dungeon. I have been let out the dungeon. I'm on probation. I do have to go back though. It's not bad. I'm like in a little outhouse next to the dungeon castle. I'm in the privy. I'm actually sitting on the loo at the moment. You know, where it's just a long bench. So if someone else comes in, like an ogre or a troll, we could be in trouble. Luckily, Grocklesnook has also been out of the dungeon, but of course he's got wings, so he's off. He's just flown off, the little monkey. Little imp. So so we've been running this Kickstarter for the last month, all of October, from the 2nd of October right through to the 1st of November. So we've got about 6 days left, and we are 104% funded. We're on 2,094. Now we have 46 backers. Oh. Very hot in here. The 31st is on Thursday. Yeah, I knew when I said Monday it wasn't right. I was like, that doesn't feel right. Yeah, so 31st. So you've got until Friday to back the project if you want to. I'm not going to tell you what this is, but it's got a tangy taste to it. It's the only thing I could find in the privy. So we are here. And as I said, we've got 6 days to go. We're on 46 backers, which is fantastic. So that's, we were on 41 backers for a while. And then we got 5 new backers, and we got it up to £2,179. And you think, oh, that's good. That's a nice, safe margin. Because if anyone cancels or changes their pledge, then we should be okay. Well, that's exactly what happened. Somebody changed their pledge from one level to a lower level, which has affected, obviously, the grand total at the moment. But that's fine. That's their prerogative. You know, if they can't afford, you know, and a bill has come in or something like that, absolutely fine. You know, there's no obligation, obviously. So we're on 2,094, so we're still above the actual funding target. I was told by Jonathan Green that even if the target goes under 2,000, it still funds because we did reach that goal. The problem with that, though, is that if you've worked out that you need £2,000 to make this project viable, then obviously we really want that £2,000 or above, because, you know, if it goes right down to £1,000, then it's going to be hard for it to be viable. But we'll see. But anyway, I'm talking negatively. Let's talk positively. So I am envisaging it only going higher and higher and higher. We've only had one cancellation, and that was really early on. So far it's been pretty good, the project, the campaign. I think it's been quite successful. Martha had a weird dream. I think Grockle woke me up and gave me the sniffles. Yeah, well, as I say, he's flown off, so maybe he did fly over to your house, Martha, and played a little trick on you. So we are still on course to fund the project, which is fantastic. So if you haven't backed the project, I do urge you to have a look. Check it out. What's the worst that could happen? There's also a free sample. Where you can actually download this sample and play the game. You can read you can see if you agree with my writing, that it's quality writing. You can see if this is the book for you. That's the beautiful thing about the sample. It's got all the rules, how to play it. What you do need is a D12 die, preferably 2, or you could have 1 D6, regular, normal, commonplace D6, 6-sided dice, and then you could roll that multiple times. But I've sort of done it on a D12 system. My weird dream is that Ken was the sheriff in Nottingham, and that you were hunting me a farmhouse, a famous outlaw. Oh, I see. So I was the sheriff in Nottingham and you were a famous outlaw. So, like Robin Hood, in other words. Wow, that is a little bit weird, isn't it? Did I catch you? Did you escape? Yeah. Well, sometimes you can have, dreams that you could use as inspiration for your work, for your literature, for your stories. The problem with that one, though, I guess it is like Robin Hood, isn't it? So you can't, it'd be like copying. Although Robin Hood is out of copyright, so anybody can write a Robin Hood story. Let me see if my tea is still warm. No, not drinking that. That is cold. So forgive me if it's a bit echoey in here, because it is echoey. And there's exciting news with the Kickstarter, is that I've teamed up with Jam, who writes game books. He has his Paranormal Hero, a series of game books, and we've teamed up together. So what we're doing is, if you've backed my one, you can back his one, and if you back both projects, you will be then getting a free digital download, a new anthology of game book stories. So there's going to be 100 entry game book from me and 100 entry game book from Jam, although he might split his because he talked about doing another one, so we'll see. So it could be 2 each. It might be, so the minimum is going to be 2 100 game book entries. Does that make sense? I don't know if that was very clear. So it's basically, this sample is 30 entries. So it's going to be, sort of 3 times the thickness. So that's not bad. Well, no, +2. So it's going to be quite, So that's 2 new adventures if you back my project and you back Jam's project. And you can back at any level. We're not specifically saying you have to back at the paperback levels because, you know, that seems a bit much. So it's up to you. Gotta run, literally. See you later. Thank you for joining in, Sally. And I will talk to you later, no doubt. May your thieving never be caught. Don't go and thieve in real life, though, because you probably will get caught. So that's very exciting. So we've done a crossover promotion. So hopefully, if you've backed Jam's project, but not mine, and you want that extra game book, the digital game book, then just back mine at any level and you'll get that, and vice versa. Does that make sense? Good stuff. That's what we like to hear. So Martha, have you been doing any projects? Have you been creating any projects? Because, you know, have you been working on your stuff? Because when I'm running a Kickstarter, you know, doing other projects is difficult up to a point, because when you're running a Kickstarter, you're just constantly thinking of marketing. So I don't know if anyone's run a Kickstarter that's watching or watching back. I know that Jonathan has, Jam has, and it, you know, it's a big undertaking, because not only are you providing the content for the actual Kickstarter page, you're providing content for the actual product. So if you're writing a book, you know, I wanted to give people a chance to read my writing before they actually committed, because they might think, oh, I don't know if this book's any good or not. Why should I take a risk? So, you know, you can download it. So I wanted to get this finished. I'm doing all the illustrations myself as well, so I wanted to get at least the front cover finished, and a couple of samples of the interior artwork as well. But also, which is one of the biggest things, is the promotion of it, the marketing. Martha's put here, yep, try to outline your fantasy novel. Okay, that's good. Struggling a bit, and sometimes I've been knitting. A big project I have planned is a model ship. Fantastic. So struggling a bit. But you see, whenever I sort of struggle with a creative project, I remind myself, hello, good evening, Lee Rin. Yeah, off to dry cleaning. Yeah, Grockle Snook's flown away. We've been let out the dungeon for a little bit of a holiday. I'm in the privy. I'm in the outside toilet. So any moment, a troll or an ogre could just come in and stink the place up. And Grocklesnook, yeah, he just went off. I think he's visiting his relatives. He'll be back, though. We have to be back. He's currently hiding here. Oh, there he is. He's with Martha. Wow, are you feeding him Scaledrake? Scaldrakes. Scaldrake scratchings. So I always think, you know, if I'm sort of finding something particularly hard in the creative process, I see that as just part of the creative process. Sometimes, you know, it can flow and it goes really well. Sometimes, you know, it's a bit more static. So, yeah, it's probably a good idea, like you probably do, Martha, already. You put it to one side, go and do something else, you know, work on your knitting or planning out your model ship, which is fantastic. What are you making the model ship out of then? Is that going to be wood, or is that going to be, are you knitting a model ship? Maybe you could knit a ship. So I tend to then, so that's why I end up working on several projects, because you kind of think, right, or if a project's at a certain stage, to say it needs to be proofread by someone else, it's like, okay, well, they're going to take a week, 2 weeks to proofread that. I might as well start something else or carry on with another project. Hence why people, I think, that creative end up doing several projects. Plus, if it is getting a bit sticky in one bit and they're stuck on one bit, your brain naturally goes, well, that's easy because I know what to do on this project. So I would just sort of embrace that, which I'm sure you are doing, Martha. But yeah, fantastic. You're outlining another fancy novel, which is fantastic. So what I've been doing is, I did do another play test, if I can just grab this here, of my bee game. Look at this. Misbehave. So, this is my bee game that I've been developing. on and off now for the last, 6 months now, I think. Maybe even longer than that. Martha said, no, you're making it out of wood with no kit. Oh, okay, so you're actually going to start from scratch, so to speak. I'm tempted to make it the Explorer from my fantasy novel and make her 55.5 centimetres long and 20 centimetres wide. Nice, so it's going to be based on one of your ships in your book. That's really cool. So 55, I guess, is about that length by about that. Yeah, so that's going to be quite cool. So have you got pictures that you can do reference from? Always admire the dexterity of artists who can make a complete model ship inside a bottle. Yes, I know how they do it though. I do know how they do it. Do you know how they do it? I know how they do it. I have seen how they do it. Like any magic trick, you go, oh, okay. Not that that's a magic trick, but it's like, how do they get the bottle? I know how they do it. So we've got my my Misbehave game, which I did actually do a play test of, and this is the game where you are. I'm just trying to look for a flower. Yeah, everybody starts off with a flower, and then what you're trying to do is there's a nature deck just full of these cards that you take one off the top, and then you look at it, and depending on what it is, depends on what you do with it. If it's a bee, you put it next to your flower. And what you're trying to do is collect different coloured bees. So there's 6 different coloured bees. Once you've collected all 6 on a flower, that's your scoring flower. Then you fold it, you take all the bees off, put them face down into your play area, and then you will score that at the end of the game. Once your starting flower is complete, you then get to choose another flower that's not a starting flower, and these are worth 5 points if you complete this flower. So once again, you'll be taking the bee, you'll be taking the bees from here and placing them on your flower. And if you complete a non-starting flower, you score all of that. You score all the bees and the flower. That's worth 5 points. However, you can only have one bee of one colour on a flower. If you pick another colour that you've already got on your flower, you can put it on your second flower or your third flower or however many flowers you've got out. If, however, you can't place it on one of your bees, the bee goes to your neighbour, you choose who you want to give the bee to, because the bee always will try and find a flower. If they've all got the same colour and the bee can't be placed, then they go into the beehives. Can I find a beehive? So around the table there's 6 beehives, and the bee will go into the beehive. When you complete a flower, that's when you can pick bees from the beehive, so you can actually choose which bee you want. So it's a pretty simple game, but there is a bit of a strategy in there as well. The other thing is that sometimes you'll pick rain cards. If you pick a rain card, then that means you can play it on another player, and they have to lose a bee from one of their flowers up to the value of what the card says. So if it's 3, you might lose a 2 and a 1. Yeah? Or if you've got a 3B, you could lose the 3B. If, however, you happen to have a sunflower, a sun, you place it on top of your flower, and then the rain it protects the flower, the bees from the rain for one go. So say this was played on you, you would just simply discard the rain, but you don't lose any bees. So there's a little bit more strategy to it. So it's a good fun game. I play tested it with some kids actually. So they were 13 and 14, I think. And yeah, they really enjoyed it. I said, is it too complicated? They went, no, it's not too complicated. So that's cool. They seemed to enjoy it. They wanted to play again, which is always, a good thing when you're play testing a game, that they say, oh, can we play that again? Because that's what you want. You want people to play your game more than once, obviously. Lee has put, how long did it take? Oh, I know, because I made one myself. Oh, you made one? Oh, fantastic. So you've made one already. That's brilliant. Yeah, how long did it take? Is the adhesive used to PVA or is it also like tree resin? Oh, some very technical questions there from Lerin. Is it PVA or tree resin? I don't know. I think if it was me, I'd probably be using PVA, sort of modern glue. But I don't know. Maybe you can still get. Can you still get tree resin as a glue? Not really sure. But yeah, I would imagine you have to be very, very delicate with a ship in a bottle. But yeah, I did see a video of how they actually did it. I won't spoil the magic if you don't know. But Martha does know because she said she's already made one, which is brilliant. So yeah, so I'm just going to quickly sort these out into the hives. So what I want to do with this game now is playtest it again with a few other players, different players. And then, then it's I think it's pretty much ready for pitching. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to kind of reprint some of these because I've just drawn that 3 on with biro. So when I pitch it, I want it to be perfect. I want it to be pitch perfect. There we go. And therefore, I want all the artwork to be good. These cards are a little bit cut out, a bit wonky, so I'm going to redo all it. So I'll reprint all of these. And then I'll just do a pitch sheet, so an A4 sheet, explaining, how the game works roughly, an overview of the game, and why it's a good game. What's the hook? What's the sellability? Why should you take the game? So it's a direct pitch in paper form with illustrations to the publisher to catch their eye, so they might go, oh, okay, this looks like a good game, tell me more. And then hopefully they'll contact you and say, yeah, have you got a demo of that game that we can play? So what I'm also going to do is put it on Tabletop Simulator, which I've been learning how to do because I've not really programmed that yet. So I've been learning how to do that, which is always cool. And then I can say to them, yeah, you can play it. We can play it on Tabletop Simulator if it's easier. So also what I want to do is I'm going to do like a minute worth of video. So it's just going to be a very short video just explaining how you play the game. Very quick, so some of the actual minutiae of the rules I might not go into, but I might be able to explain the whole game in a minute anyway, because it's not really that complicated. There is other things like if you match bees, you can actually get an extra turn. So each bee has its own colour, so this one's pink, but it's got a yellow border. So it matches up with, you've guessed it, a yellow bee with a pink border. So let me get the yellow bee with a pink border. Yeah. So if you lay this next to your flower, and then on your next go you happen to get the yellow one, it doesn't have to be your next go, but whenever you match it, yeah, so it's yellow bee, yellow border, or pink bee, pink border, you then automatically get another go. So there's other little things like that I've put in there. And I've also got like a little honey badger token. This is just a meeple, but it would be cool if it was shaped like a honey badger. That means that when bees go back into the hive, the player that's had to put a bee back into the hive gets to move the honey badger. And the honey badger sits in between the hives because it's looking for honey. And it actually means that it's guarding the hives, if you like. The bees, in the hive are sort of trapped. And so when the player is asked, is requested to take a bee from the hives, it can't take them from the bee that the honey badger is protecting. However, they can take it from the 4 other hives because there's 6 hives. But if a bee does go back into the hive, it's, in theory, it's kind of scares the honey badger, and the honey badger then gets moved to 2 other hives to protect. Then you might want to protect certain bees that are in hives. So, for example, if there was a 3 and a 3 next to each other, you might want to stop people getting those 3s because that's high scoring. So so there is a little bit of strategy in this. So it's a sort of game that I'm hoping, gamers would like, people who are my age, or, in their 30s would like as a sort of filler game, as a sort of starter game of the evening. Because it should only take about 20 minutes to play. And it's got enough appeal, I think, that kids would like playing it. So it could be a family game as well. So hopefully it's got that crossover appeal. That is the plan. And I have played it with gamers as well, and they enjoy it. So, because I go to a playtesting group now, and they have enjoyed it. So I'm very excited about that. So that, hopefully, I can get that all ready to pitch in January, because I think now people, I don't really know, but are publishers really looking for games at the moment? We're coming into winter. They've probably got other things on their mind. So Martha's put here, she uses PVA glue. It takes a long time to dry, but it's very strong. My first model was not very good. Those model is the Explorer. Yeah, but Martha, yeah, you might say it's not very good, but you did it. That's the thing. You went, I want to do this, and I'm going to do it. And then next time you do it, you'll get better at it, won't you? Martha's put it, found a couple of model ships on the flea market. Oh, fantastic. But they were in bad shape, and they didn't let me buy them for the one price. Oh, greedy jerks. Oh, let me just double check. I think I'm hearing the jailer outside. Let me just double check everything's all right. Oh, hello, Simon. You're right. I was just upstairs. Sorry about that. Just needed to make sure everything was all right. So it's only me, or is the door all right? More as Ken went outside. Did it move? Oh, this one moved, did it? The fact you complete the Explorer is tangible proof your persistence, perseverance regardless, chin up. Intrepid artist. Yeah, absolutely, Lirin. Yes, I second what Lirin says. Okay, it might be the wind though, Martha. I always like to debunk things because I'm not going to automatically say that it was spirit. So let's just see if it... Because me opening this... Although it does seem to be moving, doesn't it? It is moving a little bit. Is it moving? Is it moving? I'm still not 100% convinced it's spirit. There's nobody in here, as you can see. I don't know if you can see that, actually. Can you see that? Yeah, there's nobody actually in here. Let's check it out. There doesn't seem to be any holes in here, like drafty holes. Well, I'll leave it like that, just in case it moves again. It is Halloween. Woo! It is moving. It was moving, wasn't it? I saw it move as well. I just wonder if, because I opened that door, that kind of caused a breeze to open that door. This is what messy place. Yeah, so this is the thing with creativity, isn't it? You've just got to keep going. You've just got to be persevere. I remember years ago when I first started writing, I wanted to be perfect. I'd craft a sentence and it would take me ages. And my friend said, God, that's taking me ages. Why don't you just write it all out first? And then you can correct it, you can improve it, you can edit it, just get it out your system, then you can improve it. And even then he said that first draft would be pretty terrible. You've just got to keep working on it. And then over the years, my writing has improved, thanks to reading a lot, thanks to other people's comments and help, thanks to me reading lots of how to write books, and then more recently looking at YouTube, how to write videos. So everything improves. Everything improves. Although, I will say this. Hello, Jam. Morning. How are you? We're in the privy. This room is meant to be haunted, Martha. So the fact that you saw the door moving, I'm kind of, could be spirit, but I don't want to totally say it's spirit, but it is meant to be haunted. I've always felt there's a presence in this room. How are you, Jam? How are you? Leaving Spirit. Since the session to be spooky, going to see Venom 3 tonight. Fantastic. For Halloween itself, watching Alien Romulus back to back. Good haunting evening, Jam. Yes. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of horror films. I have seen horror films over the years, but I kind of steer clear of them. I do like the more psychological terrors, the more psychological ghost stories. Although recently I've watched Phantom Menace. I did watch the prequel Star Wars because my brother said, have you seen the Clone Wars animated series of like the 90s or the early 2000s? I said, I haven't seen that. He said, right, here, have it. And then he said, but before you do that, watch the prequels because it leads up to the Clone Wars. And I went, oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So I will be watching the animated series. All good. Just picked my girls up. Morning, Martha, morning. Well, the day can't get better than that, can it, Jam? Having your girls with you. That's lovely. So, yeah, so I was just saying how I have been working on my B game called Misbehave. Not Misbehive, although I did consider that, but Misbehave, B-E-E, Misbehave. And it should be ready for me to start emailing people, yeah, shout out, how do you pronounce that? Cassara, is that how you pronounce it? Hello, Cassara. Cassiara. I feel the pressure there. Hopefully you're having a lovely day today. Seeing your dads. Fantastic. Yeah, so hopefully I'm going to be play testing it more. Oh, Cassia. I'm an idiot. Cassia. We'll go with that. That sounds right. So yes, so my Misbehave game should be ready for me to pitch to publishers in January. That is what I'm aiming for. The appeal of Alien series is the catharsis of being able to stand up to your fears. The smite is seemingly invincible beast with your bravery and cunning, like how our distant ancestors forestalled wolves with naught but spears. She laughed. Oh, that's good. Glad she laughed. The door moved again, did it? This one here. Yeah, I suspect it might be spirit then. Because the window, there is a window to the left, over that way. It is locked. I tried opening it because it's quite hot in here. But it's got 2 locks with keys on it and they are locked. So there's no draft in here whatsoever. That is a little bit weird then, isn't it? A little bit spooky. Egad, I saw it move too. Yeah. Well, I know there's nobody in there. And my dad's downstairs. I'm in my dad's house, basically. Dad's downstairs. There's no one else in the house. There's a face in front of your head. Don't do that, Jam. Reportedly, this room is a little bit haunted. So it's interesting that the door's moving because whenever I've stayed in here, I've always felt someone just watching me. It's always felt like... now, should we talk about it? Because it's Halloween, right? I've always felt like there's a woman that's in here that just watches. She doesn't say anything, and she just watches. And I've not felt particularly threatened by her. There's a spider. Yeah, built that room. Yeah. I hope there isn't any spiders in it. And the other day, but also, so my dad's wife, Viv, has children, and 2 of their children, when they stay in here, claim to have also felt that presence. And one of them claims to have seen her. One of them refuses to sleep in this room anymore when they come over to stay. And so I actually tuned in properly to see what she was about, to ask her what her life was about, why is she here? And ask her to move to the light, to go towards the light, because sometimes they get a bit stuck. Anyway, it transpires, she goes, no, I have already crossed over, but she purposely comes back. And what I gathered from her, it was about 400 years ago, it was to do with the plague. And that this room, her husband, it felt like, had died in this room. But they couldn't really look after him. They had to kind of just leave him because he had the plague. And it was only when he died that they could come in and that she was just standing over him. But I also got the impression that he wasn't a very nice man. And so I said, okay, so where is he in the spirit realm? Surely you've seen him. Why do you have to keep coming back here? If you're in the spirit realm, he should be in the spirit realm. And she said, he's in another place, or words to that effect, and our paths parted. Now, I don't quite know what she means by that. Did she mean like he's in hell? In something called hell? Oh, okay, Martha's put it, there is a place here in Norway I can't go. It's from the war, and the place makes me physically ill from fear. So you're probably picking up on energy, on that frequency, Martha, because that's what I do. I tune into the frequency and the energy in the room, and the spirit. I've tuned into their energy, their frequency. So it could be, and so it's like, okay, well, if he wasn't a very nice person, why are you coming back here? And it was like she was grieving for the life that she wanted rather than the life she had, because he wasn't very nice to her. Oh, I think I might be needed downstairs. So it was all a bit kind of, she's coming back because she wanted a different life as opposed to the life she had. I also got the impression that her father lived in this house and that he wasn't very nice either. So, maybe she's coming back to sort of try to, because she's angry that she had a horrible life. But I said to her, get healing from in the spirit world. You have to move on from this. You can't keep holding on to that because it's not doing yourself any favours. So I've not really felt her. That was on Tuesday and it's Saturday. So this is the first time I've been back since I did that and spoke to her. And I feel like she's around, but not as strongly as she was. So maybe that's just a little sign to show. If your dad needs your help, stop the stream, go to him. I think he's all right, Martha. We've just, we'll do another 5 minutes and then I'll go. So what I'll just quickly talk about is, so just going to do an update on my Kickstarter. We are on 46 backers, 2,094, 104%. Jam has also got his Kickstarter. We've done a team up, we've done a mash-up where you're going to get a free digital junket, as I've called it. A dual junket adventure game book where it's 2 extra stories of at least 100 entries each. And if you back both projects, you will exclusively get that. We're not going to sell it elsewhere. We're not going to give it away for free. It's only for those backers. But I personally find with the 2 ghosts I've seen back in Australia, rather than fear them, it's better to say hello and wave back. The granny in the painting in the antiquity store was sad and lonely, and she actually smiled when I waved back. 30 years and I still remember her. Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely, Levin. Most of them just want to talk to you. There's a reason why they come through, presumably. Sometimes they're just curious and they just want to know who you are or what's going on. But I mean, I've got some tales where, somebody's not being very nice. It's anger. It's that resentment and anger. And then I just talk to him and then manage to guide him to the light. But I can tell you that in full another time. So what I will quickly say, though, is I also have been creating the second prototype, the prototype Mark II of my Devilish Dilemmas game. So I did lose the actual files, the digital files for my prototype game. However, that's not deterred me. Hello, John. How are you? I know I'm not. They let me out of the dungeon. I'm in the privy instead. So I'm on a long bench with a hole on it. Gocklesnook, though, he's got wings. He's flown over to see Martha. True, but I don't want to go to there when it makes me... Yeah, no, absolutely. Fair enough. It's not your job to rescue them. I'm taking that on. So I will go and rescue them. All is good, John. All is good. I'm just saying about we're going to be wrapping it up soon, though, John, because we've been on for about 42 minutes. So the other project I've been working on is scanning in. I've scanned in most of my prototype for my Devilish Dilemmas game. So this is the board. This is how it would go. This is just my prototype game, and I've scanned in all the images, and I've started to make changes because I've play tested the game twice now. So these are some of the characters that you can play. Faith Lightfoot, she's a courtroom clerk. Constantine Blythe, she's a retired governess. Radley Ralston, he's a tailor. Then we've got Kitty Bradshaw Lawrence. She's an owner of a family hotel. Then we've got Harold Knight. He's a valet for Lord Hubert. And then finally we've got Magnus Madgwick, university professor. So you get to play one of those characters and cooperatively you solve the murder. And I'm going to have 3 murders in the base game. And what I'm doing is... I play tested the game twice and made tweaks each time. And the last time I realised, the game's just too long. It took them about 3, maybe 4 hours to solve the case. So what I'm going to do is, I thought, how can I make the game shorter? So, as you can see on the board, there's location areas. And you put a card down and that then becomes whatever the location is on the card. I've got 15 of these in the original game, and I'm chopping that down to 12. So I'm cutting the amount of locations that people can go into, therefore reducing the amount of forensics, clues, and witnesses, potentially witnesses that they will go and question or look at clues, or look at the forensics. So that should speed the game up probably by about half an hour, I guess. I don't really know. That's why you play test it. So that is my next project that I'm working on in conjunction with, obviously, my To Kill a Thief, my Devilish Dilemmas. Can't wait for the crime game. Thank you very much, John. Yeah. Well, what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to put it up onto Tabletop Simulator, and then I might ask people, invite only, if they want to play test it. So we could get everyone on Discord for the voice, and then you can play it on Tabletop Simulator. Tabletop Simulator is something completely different. So there we go. So, Levin's put, even though 20th Century Fox shot itself in the foot by refusing to hire Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan's upperclassman, as swordsmaster for the Star Wars prequels, thank goodness George Lucas was very well versed enough in Hong Kong action aesthetic to give the West its first mainstream exposure to wuxi, martial chivalry style of cinema. Oh, there we go. All hail Darth Maul and the Knights of the Old Republic. Yes, Darth Maul. I do remember watching Phantom Menace at the cinema when it came out and being slightly disappointed. It has some good bits. I watched it the other day for first time in a long time. I think that's the third time I've seen it, and it was okay. It was all right, but I don't know. It's still not as good as the original trilogy, is it? You should have 2 game modes, long and short, and let the players decide what type of game they want to play. Now, interestingly enough, I did think about that as well. So weirdly enough, John, you've hit the nail on the head, because what I thought I would do is on one side have the short game with 12 locations, and then on the other have the same layout but with 15 rooms. Then what I would do is there would be 3 base games, 3 base cases, that you buy in the big box. So say it's a £40 game, £30-40 game, you get 3 cases to solve. And what we could do is on 2 of the cases could be short cases, just to get you into the game. So they're about 2 hours long. An hour and a half, 2 hours long. Then on the back, on the reverse side, 15 locations. And that could be the 3rd case. Then, if it's popular, we could release expansions, and it could be short expansion, which you play on the 12 location side, or a long version, a more meatier case, which you play on the 15 side. So I did think about that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you came out with that idea, because I was thinking, is it a good idea? So if someone else sort of thinks of it and thinks that's a good idea, then I'm pretty sure we should do that. What luck. My friend came over with salty caramel fudge and Turkish delight from Narnia. Fantastic, Martha. You are living the dream. Hello to your friend from Narnia. If the original was more Japanese cinema in its tribute, the prequels are more Hong Kong. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it is also, it's about, the Jedis, aren't they? About respect, about, I think it's also, isn't it slightly based as well on the English Arthurian knights, where there's chivalry, there's a code of conduct, it's all of that. He took from a lot of cultures, didn't he, and a lot of things, which is kind of what fantasy does and sci-fi does, doesn't it? John's put it, that sounds like a good idea to me. You should do that and give players the best of both worlds. Yeah, long and play short. Yeah, exactly. So if you want a shorter game, you play the 12 location quests or, cases, murder mysteries. And if you want a longer experience, you play the 15 ones. So over time, there'll be a number of short case expansions and long case expansions. And I also thought we could do them in different genres. So the original case, I thought the original base game, it could be 1920s, classic murder mystery. But then I could do a sci-fi And those locations could be, you know, your spaceship or a spaceport or something like that. Or I could do Wild West, and that location is is like a saloon, yeah, or it's an actual town, and each location is a different building. Do you see what I mean? So it has got a lot of room for expansions, because the base game, the board is actually just blank, and you just put the cards in those places. It's actually the cards that are the murder mystery. Nice, yes, do that, yeah. Jedis are basically Shellon monks in space. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh man, now you gave me an idea. There we go. See, that's what we like, sparking ideas off each other. Yes, so John says, yes, do that. Yeah, so I think that's quite a good idea. So what I'm going to do is, the way I'm going to pitch this game is exactly that. I'll say, it's a murder mystery game. This base game, you know, these first 3 cases are all set in the 1920s, and each character that the players play, there's 6 characters they can choose from. Then with the expansions, again, you can play long or short cases. So there'll be 2 short cases and a long one in the box. Plus, in the expansion, I can also give them new characters to play, you know, with a little bit of different flavour to it. So it's got potential, because obviously once you play a murder mystery, you know it. You know, this sort of stuff, you will know it. It's a one-shot deal. So I think for, you know, if it's 1.5 to 2 hours, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 hours worth of gameplay in the base game. I think that's quite a lot. It's good value for money. And then if you were then to buy the expansion, you don't need to buy the base game again, because you've already got the board. So you just buy like the expansion for 15, 20 quid. So there you go. So again, I'm hoping to get all this prototype, the new prototype with the shorter board, in place before Christmas. And I want to play test it again with a new group of people before Christmas. Then what I want to do is, again, put it up onto Tabletop Simulator. I don't know why I can't say that. And then maybe ask, you know, if people want to play it online. You know, John, you might be up for playing it online, to play test it one last time. And then once I've done that, then pitch it around to publishers as well. John's, but in the science fiction one, you could have a case with someone being shot out of an airlock. Yeah, absolutely. And you have found out who trapped the poor soul in the airlock. Yeah, no, it's classics. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's loads of ideas. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. That's the thing. The good thing, the system I've developed is it's all on the cards. So it could be any genre. It could be any, you know, I could even do like a medieval one, medieval mystery, medieval murder mystery. I can dot about, can do different characters. Oh, I've not seen that. Yeah, leaving, but like Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat in Space. I've not seen that. So there you go. So that's what I've been working on. I've been working on To Kill a Thief, my game book. I've been working on my Misbehave game, and also I've been working on my Devilish Deaths. So do you like that? Devilish Dilemmas and my Devilish Deaths murder mystery game. That's what I'm going to call it. That will give people endless possibilities, which is a fantastic idea. Yeah, absolutely. It means that I can literally, like Doctor Who, I can go anywhere. Space, I can do fantasy. You know, I could do a fantasy murder mystery. I could do different cultures. I could do, you know, different areas of England or the UK or different countries. I can go back in time. I can go forward in time. It's all flexible. I think it would work. I think it's very appealing. You know, and I don't have to just stick to the 1920s. So there we go. And different locations. So yeah, one could be on a spaceship. One could be, you know, in a Wild West town. One could be, I don't know, yeah, underground. It could be that there's an underground civilization. I don't know. One could be on a cruise ship. Yeah, could be on the Titanic. Although that might be a little bit in poor taste. Yeah, not the Titanic, but it could just be on a cruise ship. Yeah. So there we go. So thank you so much. I think we'll wrap it up there. It's 55 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, we're in the toilet. Next week we should be back in the dungeon. And let me know if you saw the door move anymore. I might look back on this just to see it move. So thank you so much, John, for watching. Thank you, Leroy, and thank you, Martha. Thank you, Jam. And thank you, Sally, for tuning in as well. Thank you so much. And if you do want to support the campaign, Devilish Dilemmas, you can get a free sample if you go there. Type game book or To Kill a Thief into Kickstarter. It has fully funded, so you know it's going to happen. And you can also, we've done a special deal. Me and Jam have teamed up, we've mashed up. If you go to his Paranormal Hero on Kickstarter, if you've backed mine and you've backed his, yeah, so you've backed both projects at any level, you will receive our Dual Junket Adventure game book, which is at least 2 stories of 100 entries. Because Jam might write a cheeky extra one, I'm not sure what he's up to, but that's kind of what we're going for. Yeah, good night everybody. So there we go, so check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, may your thieving never get caught. Or be caught, that's probably a better way of putting it. Anyway, see you later.